And Pete, we know Manchester City have been pretty strongly linked to a lot of center backs in the last few months. It seems like that's a position they want to attack, whether it be January or just for the future. Two center backs that have popped up most recently are Siku Niakate and Abdu Kodir Kusanov from Lens, the young Uzbek center back. Will they definitely add a center back this window? And is one of these names interesting to you?
Yeah, I think they will do everything they can to bring in a centre back. Obviously, we know Pep Guardiola has seen his options limited due to the amount of injuries they've had in defence this season. He's never had a sort of regular back forward that he could choose from this season. Ake has been sidelined, Ruben Diaz has been sidelined, Guardiola's been injured. It's been obviously Akanji's been out as well. It's just so many. John Stones has been a huge miss, I think, as well. He brings so much to that Manchester City team when he is fit. So I think he'd be looking to address those defensive concerns because obviously Manchester City have been too easy to play against in recent weeks due to all their injury problems as well. The one for me would probably be Kusanov from Lens, very promising defender, just 20 years old, but playing at a good level in Ligue 1. Uzbekistan international as well. He would tick a lot of boxes, very strong and dominant, 6'5", but also he is good on the ball, so that would make him somebody who would be ideal for a Pep Guardiola team as well. So I think he would probably be the one for me rather than Niakate at Braga, who again another good young defender who's 25 years old, Mali international as well. But I just think Kusanov probably more long term would be somebody that City could bring in, maybe help settle in for 6 to 12 months, and then he could maybe get a regular run on the side then, a bit like Manchester City have done over the years with some of their signings. It takes them a while to bed in to how they want them to play in Pep style and everything else. But Kusanov, a player who's attracted interest from a number of top clubs as well, so I think Manchester City see him as a potential star in the making, so I think they'll do everything they possibly can to sign him in this window. And Lawrence have given them encouragement by saying they won't stand in his way if the right offer is made, so I'm sure Manchester City will be happy to hear that, and I'm sure there'll be bids made for him in this window.
He's one that we'll see in the Premier League come January, isn't he, Kusanov? I think there's a lot of clubs that are touting him. He's a top young player, and given Lens' financial situation and the financial structure of the club, like we said, there's Tottenham that have been linked to him. I know Manchester City have been linked. And for a player of that, listen, you're buying potential. At, what is he, 20 years old? Uzbekistan international. You're buying potential, and you're presuming that he can cope at that level. There's a lot of risk involved in the transfer. It's not someone that's going to come in, hit the ground running, and start straight away. But actually, the quality of the player and we talk 20 million. We say it so flippantly in this day and age, but that's a small transfer fee. It's a small risk to take for these big clubs. He'll be in the Premier League.
Well, someone who certainly wouldn't be a small transfer fee is Aurelien Tchouameni from Real Madrid. Paul, could you see him being the Roger replacement long-term in Manchester City? Could they pry him away and bring him to work under Pep?
Well, he's not a regular starter, is he, at Real at the moment? He's found himself in and out of the side. So, I mean, that may give Pep a little bit of hope. But it's finances and whether the player actually wants it. Listen, he's a great option for Manchester City when you think of it like that. Why it's taken this long to be linked. He can play centre-back, central defensive midfield, the holding midfield. He covers all bases, doesn't he? He can play in a back three. He can play in that holding midfield role. He can play as a centre-back. Listen, he's a top player, a real top player, but top players cost a lot of money. So if City are to do the deal, I think that's a tough one to do. But we've said before, City needs statement signings in January to get themselves back to where they need to be. This drop-off, it seems like it might have come to an end. The results of late have picked up. But actually, he's a player that walks through the door and everyone in the Premier League stands up and goes, wow, that's a signing. So it's a big signing. I think it'd be a difficult one to do in January, but that's the type of player that City are able to pull off. And I think financially, because the Alvarez sale in the summer just gone, I suspect, Pete, financially, they're able to do deals like that if they were there.
Yeah, money is available for Pep Guardiola to spend. As you said, they got that 70 plus million for Alvarez, which was a huge profit from what they signed him, I think, for 15. So, yeah, the money's there for Pep to do it. And I think due to City's struggles this season in midfield and in defence, I think the owners are willing to maybe go against what they normally do. Normal strategy in January is to go out maybe and spend a few quid. And they will be looking at top players because you'll have to be a top player to get into that Manchester City team. And Tchouameni is a seasoned professional. He's still only 24, but he's got so much experience from his time at Real Madrid, serial Champions League winner, France international as well. I'd like Paul, I think it's a hard deal to do in January just because Real Madrid probably won't want to weaken their squad. Midway through the season, they're going for La Liga title, going to try and retain the Champions League as well, so they won't want to weaken their squad. But Tuchemeni, top player. He's been linked with the Premier League for a long time now. Liverpool tried to sign him before he went to Real Madrid, and there's been talk that even Liverpool could be in for him in his next couple of transfer windows as well. So it's a name we'll probably keep seeing cropping up linked with the move to the Premier League, especially when he's not playing regularly at Real Madrid.